It's a bit of a cliche, but a house almost needs to be like a yacht. You're constantly adjusting things depending on which way the wind's blowing, what the weather's doing. The house needs to have like endless combinations. If you kind of are connected and leave yourself a little exposed when the days aren't so great, it's a bit colder, a bit wet. If you're aware of that, then when the weather's nice, when it's really sunny and warm, it makes it that much sweeter. My name is Angus Worth. I was the architect, builder, and son on this project. Welcome to Harley House. So we're in Avalon on Sydney's northern beaches. Avalon sits on Guringai country. It's a place of incredible natural beauty. You know, you've got these incredible landscapes of rugged sandstone headlands, beautiful beaches. Dad was a surfer. We almost didn't have a choice. You know, it was part of the lifestyle. So yeah, we grew up surfing, and Avalon has some great waves. It's a beautiful place to have grown up and call home. My relationship with the clients, they were my parents, and you know, I'd been working for many years building on site. My parents had got to a point where they were looking to build a family home, and I was called upon in what some might say a complicated but eventually a fruitful sort of relationship as architect and also son. So the brief from them was a family home, but leaning into this idea of multi-generational living where they wanted the house to almost have some separate living areas where family can come and stay and all live under the one roof, united in one home, but also maintain a degree of separation and different living spaces, you know, looking into the future where the house could potentially expand and be a home to a few different generations. Starting from the street, we intentionally didn't want to have any sort of fence or anything kind of separating the house from the street, and instead we have done a very organic native landscape that can help sort of, I guess, invite the street into the block a bit more. So as you head up the driveway, you're sort of flanked on both sides by, you know, tall native grasses and eucalypts, and it's a couple of pandanus palms, which sort of speak to that coastal flora of the area. As you come up the driveway, a carport sort of swings around to the left, and in there you have also like a private kind of shower area. So when you come back from the surf, you can have a shower and rinse the sand off. From the carport, there's a series of stairs that take you up to the front door. You are directed into the kitchen, dining, lounge area, which runs along the southern side. Around to the left from the front door, you move into the private side of the house, where you have a bathroom, which then opens out over the pool and backyard, and then moving into the other main bedrooms on that wing. I felt that every room needed to have some sort of dialogue with the landscape around it. The plan of the house is very much a case of room, courtyard, where every room has some sort of dialogue with the landscape. Not only the borrowed landscape from areas outside the property, but also that landscape became as important as the building and the architecture itself. Our bathrooms are obviously very intimate spaces, and it's almost a little counterintuitive to have a whole wall that just slides open like that. But when the opportunity arises, you've got the place to yourself and you just want to have a bath, but able to open up and just look out over the garden and landscape. It's pretty special. The pool straddles that line of it. It's a little plunge pool, but large enough to get quite a few people in there. It sort of sits just outside the bathroom. It's simple. It's meant to kind of almost be a direct extension of the house, an off-form finish, almost like a little timber jetty that juts out into it that you can just jump into after a surf. The living dining area is, I guess, dominated by a large off-form concrete wall to the south. We have clerestory windows above to let a bit of that southerly light in, and maintains a sense that fly roof is still floating at that point, with some very slender steel flat plate columns that keep the roof hovering above that main living space. To the north, there are a series of doors, and much like all parts of the house, everything is operable and has a dialogue with the landscape outside, and that's no different from the kitchen, dining, lounge, living areas, where all the doors can then stack back, open right up, and enjoy that connection out to the north. Yeah, I was having a bit of think about this, what my favorite part of the house is. And I think it's probably quite like a micro moment. It's the bridge over the pond for me. You know, when you open that back door and there's the pond, which when you first visit the house, I don't think you would know it's there. And you open those back doors and it's that moment of crossing it, getting a glimpse of the fish and moving into another space. Like keeping it under one huge fly roof that sails over the top, and then you get those long views through the living space across the garden and landscape and into the heart of that home at the back there. It's a small moment, but one of my favourite parts of the house. The house was built with Trent Girdler, local builder, and his sons, and we had a couple other really talented craftsmen on site, Moritz Mueller and myself. Years ago when I started studying architecture, decided that I wanted to just start labouring, working on site, and 5, 6 or 7 years later I found myself loving the build side of things and was just working on site and building. With me being on site and doing the construction myself, we were able to resolve and design and detail as we went in those kind of situations. It allows a level of experimentation and exploration. Everything on site is bespoke, crafted, and highly detailed. In that sense, it was very beneficial for me to be able to be on site and part of the build team. Obviously, there's so much that can go wrong with doing a project for your family. You know, not only is it the project at stake, but it's also your relationship with your parents. And I think I'm proud of the fact that we were able to deliver this project, often under trying circumstances. Inevitably, budget creeps and defects and things that are always part of every project. But we were able to work through everything and at the end of the day, deliver a really beautiful family home, which both mum and dad, they love living here. And in terms of the brief, it fulfills the brief. You know, we've had so many great memories now formed in this house, whether they be 90th birthdays, Christmases, all sorts of things. For me, I felt quite proud about how the house was fulfilling its brief at those times.